Time now for a quick check of the headlines. Chicago police charging two brothers with murder in the shooting death of NBA star Dwayne Wade's cousin. Police say Darwin and Darren Sorrells were trying to shoot a third man when they shot Nakia Aldridge instead. Aldridge had been pushing a baby in a stroller as she was walking to register her children for school. Crews in Wyoming are battling a wildfire that's now blocking one of the entrances to Yellowstone National Park. Yellowstone has closed some areas of the park, but other parts are still open to visitors. And Turkey's president is promising to destroy terrorists after bombings across that country. Officials sending tanks across the Syrian border after weeks of deadly attacks by both ISIS and Kurdish militants.
Now turning our focus to a key battleground state in the race for the White House, and that is Ohio. You know, it's especially critical for Donald Trump because no Republican has ever won the White House without winning the Buckeye State. And according to a Mammoth University poll, he's got some ground to make up there. Take a look. Mrs. Clinton leads Mr. Trump 43 to 39%. While 10% of the state's likely voters back Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson, and fewer than 1%, as you can see there, support Green Party candidate Jill Stein. But, you know, the gap between Mr. Trump and Mrs. Clinton is narrower there than in some other swing states. Jay Chabria joins us. He's a Republican strategist, managing director of Mercury, LLC, and a former senior advisor to the current Ohio governor, John Kasich. Jay, welcome. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Eric.
You're in Columbus right now, and a headline in the Columbus Dispatch quotes your former boss, the governor, saying that he, quote, now gives Trump a chance to win Ohio. You know, the governor boycotted Trump. He refused to even step foot in the convention. Why has his thinking about the Trump candidacy somewhat changed?
Well, I don't think his thinking on the Trump candidacy has changed. I mean, his point all along is that Donald Trump hasn't had a vision for this country, a positive vision for this country, which is what so many voters yearn for. You can't just be against something. You also have to be for something, too. And Donald Trump has to learn how to talk to the entire state. We have a very diverse state. The reason Ohio is a swing state is because we've got everything. We've got farmers, we've got urban, we've got suburban, and you have to be able to talk to all kinds of voters. And I don't think that John Kasich's position on that's changed. He's just reflecting the fact that Ohio is a swing state and things always are close here.
Well, before he didn't think that he would win, but why does he now say, do you think it's possible that Mr. Trump could pull it off? He's not that far away from Mrs. Clinton, who was going to be there on Wednesday.
Well, I mean, again, I think we're reading too much into one quote from John Kasich where he said that things are possible. Elections are always, any candidate can win an election here in the state. It just depends on what's going to happen close by. Now, I will tell you this, that Donald Trump starts off at a major deficit here. He has clearly demonstrated that he is not able to reach voters all across the state. And there's another thing that we have to remember, too. We don't have election day in Ohio. We have an election month. We have 29 days of early voting. So people say there's plenty of time to turn the ship around, but early voting starts just around the corner. There's another number that I would look at.
Is there any indication how the early voting is going? I mean, I've been in Ohio, Cuyahoga County, for each presidential election. And that ground game, man, oh man, you know, as you know, President Obama kept those offices open all throughout the state, all through the 8 years that he was president, at least up until 2012. And that really made a difference, especially in Cleveland.
Well, early voting hasn't started yet, but certainly the ground game and the war between the two campaigns has. The Hillary campaign's been here for a long time. The Trump campaign has just gotten a late start here. They've hired some good people recently, and the Ohio Republican Party's done a great job, but there's no doubt there's a deficit there. And also, the other thing that I'd be worried about, too, is the data analytics campaign, where the Trump campaign seemed to say that that's not as important, and the Hillary campaign has been here.
What do you mean by that, the data analytics? Describe that. Explain it.
Well, when we're talking about a close state, something where it could be 2, 3, 4 points, those voters, when you're really targeting people and for the turnout game, is really important. I know that the Hillary campaign's on top of it. I'm not sure that the Trump campaign has much of a data analytics program here in the state or anywhere in the country. So that's going to be something that we watch on Election Day.
So what do you think is going to happen?
Well, right now, I think that Trump is well behind. One statistic that I would talk about that's really important, in my opinion, is that Donald Trump is polling at about 80 to 85% amongst Republicans. Hillary Clinton is polling at 95% of Democrats. What that allows her to do is she can go on the offense. She can start taking some of those disaffected Republicans. And I think what you're seeing with her race speech last week is trying to go after people, especially the suburban women. That's where I would look at on Election Day. What's going to happen in Ohio is those suburban women that voted for Romney, that voted for Trump. Are they going to stay at home? Are they going to hold their nose and vote for Hillary Clinton? Or are they going to bite the bullet and vote for Donald Trump?
And finally, quickly,
two of those three outcomes are bad for Trump.
Oh, you think he can make it up?
Well, anyone can make it up, but waiting for a WikiLeaks explosion is not the best campaign strategy. I think he's softened his stance on immigration, which obviously helps, but it may be too little too late.
All right, well, we'll see. It's being a major force all these years, especially up in Cuyahoga County. Jay, we thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Fox News Channel, of course. Patty Ann?
Well, Eric, what is it like, you wouldn't know, to be a woman on the Donald Trump campaign trail? Fox reporter